Alright, everybody. I completely forgot that this event was happening today, so I missed it when it was live. But Microsoft decided to go ahead and have their, big Xbox Series X game showcase, which is interesting because it's just kind of going to show that the game industry doesn't need E3 as bad as they thought that it did. With Ubisoft Forward, EA Play, PlayStation's State of Play, Nintendo Direct, all these things is just kind of E3 can go ahead and die. I get that like as far as people getting their hands on these games for the first time, I get that there's a huge deal when it comes to that. Like people playing a game for the first time at E3 for like an hour, like a year or so before it comes out. But that could be remedied if after each studio or publisher has their conference regarding the games, there's a limited free trial on the PlayStation Store, Steam Store, Microsoft Store, Nintendo Store, anything like that. Like unveil a game, and the portion of the game that you would have let people play, you can just make it available online. It would be a good way to bring back the demo crowd, because demos aren't really a thing anymore, which is unfortunate. But that's not the point here. The point is that Microsoft decided to go ahead and show off some games, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I wasn't really interested in most of it. I kind of skimmed through a lot of it. That's kind of. I thought that this bit here was interesting to me because I was like, "What's going on?" And then she starts talking, and I'm like, "Oh, it's Halo." So I kind of skipped ahead until some actual Halo stuff started happening. There's this whole cutscene that doesn't matter. I'm just gonna go ahead and skip to the gameplay. Now, one thing that I noticed immediately is that it's kind of quiet. Like this looks like it's still very early towards the beginning of the campaign. I don't mind the lack of like music and major ambient noise, but it just doesn't feel like, because from what it seems like in the cutscene before this gameplay demo, it seems like you're liberating this territory from these evil conquerors and all that stuff. I'm pretty sure that this game does take place after Halo 3. Everything seems to support that. It looks like it's going to wipe away 4 and 5, which is fine by me. Trust me, that is fine by me. But if it's think of it as like Avatar: The Last Airbender, right? Like if you go to this place in the Earth Kingdom in season 1, just a completely regular place, just a little shop, and you don't see Fire Nation soldiers picking on people. You don't see them getting bullied. You don't see the Fire Nation show up and try to like take over that small place. It just feels kind of detached from the actual world, because the whole point is that these forces have already claimed this land, and you're supposed to be reclaiming it. So the fact that there's no like propaganda anywhere in the background, also things are kind of popping in and the textures don't look very good. This game doesn't look very next gen, but that's not the point. Just the story and what we're seeing just don't seem to match up for me, and that's just my opinion. I think there should be more going on if this is supposed to be like a war-torn state, and Chief is there to fix things, but it's whatever. That's an interesting system. I guess you can kind of like approach this in a non-linear fashion, which is good because that's not really a huge thing in Halo. There's aspects of it in some of the games, like Reach. But like, there's grunts. You can just well, of course you can ignore grunts, but like, it just seems like there's nothing really going on. Like, you can just never get out if you don't want to. It's good to see you. It's really good to see you. And now the music starts to kick in, which is weird. But like, I guess the music only plays when you're fighting. I would like there to be some like ambient music in the background, just in like walking around sections. That way you don't get bored, because a lot of times if you're playing a game and there's nothing coming into your ears, you're gonna be bored. That's why there's a radio in GTA. If you're gonna be driving 7 miles, there should be something happening. That's a great sound effect. It's so classic. That's pretty cool. Looks like this game has a couple new things to offer, which is interesting. I mean, at the end of the day, it's Halo, and I don't think there's any bad Halo games, like bad, except for like 5 and Wars. I never played Wars 2. So I don't know. I mean, like, it's hard not to get nostalgic when you're watching this, especially because like I've been playing the Master Chief Collection, so it's like, you know, I just experienced these games again, you know, and so it's just it's cool to see this all happening, but it starts to look like the game does look impressive. I'm not gonna say that it looks bad. Like there's a comment that says that it looks like it's from 10 years ago. That's not true. This does not look like a 2010 game. It looks like a 2017 game, and that's the unfortunate truth of how it looks to me. Like this looks graphically on the same level as Destiny 2, but it starts to get a little bit less impressive when this guy starts talking. Skip. It's all like all bad guy stuff. Your people are weak. I want to go to where it transitions to actually him, because then yeah, this looks not good. Like look. This doesn't look good. Also, the lip syncing doesn't match the f and he's saying. Ugh, it's weird. This guy has a cool design, and I'm interested in him. I hope he has about as much charisma as Arbiter, at least more than Spartan Lock. Because at the end of the day, this is a Halo game by 343 Studios. So no matter what they show you in the trailers, be cautious. If you enjoyed Halo 4, that's fine. I also enjoyed Halo 4. I didn't enjoy Halo 5. I thought Halo 5 was awful. And Halo 5 had such a cool marketing campaign. They really tricked me into thinking that that Spartan Lock was going to be like the coolest villain since Arbiter. But no, he wasn't. And, I mean, ever since then, I take everything 343 does with a grain of salt. I mean, like, look at how they handled the Master Chief Collection. They didn't even make those games, and they screwed it up. Holy shit. The fact that they had to re-release it about 4 years later, I just gotta fucking... The fact that they had to re-release it about 4 years later, that's absolutely absurd to me. But, after that, I just kind of started skimming through. Phil talks a lot about, like, Xbox Game Pass. This looked cool, and then, at about... Well, yeah, at about that point, I realized it was another State of Decay game, and I was like, didn't that game kind of die? The second one, at least? But, Phil talks about, Game Pass, and he makes an interesting claim in this section. He says that, the Xbox Series X is going to run native 4K 60 FPS, which, of course, that's you know, the claim. That's the same claim that he made about the Xbox One S and the Xbox One X. I legitimately still don't think that it's possible for a console to run native 4K 60 FPS. And if it is, the TV you would need to make that work, unless you're plugging it into your 144 hertz monitor. But in general, like if you're just playing it on a TV that you bought at Walmart, you're probably not gonna see that. I don't know, because even like when you're watching like Netflix on a TV like that, right? You get a movie that's in 1080 and it's running at 60 FPS, and it looks weird. But then like you get something that's in 4K, and that usually runs at 30, and it looks fine. I can't really picture 4K 60 FPS being perceivable on most TVs, unless I'm completely wrong. And if I am, let me know. That's fine. I'll hold that. But that's that's weird to me. There's some Forza stuff. Forza, I mean, Forza always looks good. I know people like to hate on Xbox for only doing Forza and Halo stuff, but I mean, Forza's good. Like, it's a solid racing game. I, at this point in time, enjoy it more than I like Gran Turismo. So Gran Turismo 7 is going to have some serious work to do if it wants that spot back. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's Forza. You kind of know what to expect, but you know it's going to be a lot of fun to play. Hopefully it takes good advantage of the tech and the controllers. I might buy a Series S controller for my PC, because that's another thing, right? Take a look down here. Xbox Series X Windows PC. That's the annoying thing about this, right? Because we still don't know how much the Xbox Series X is going to cost. I'm still assuming 600. But if you already bought a PC that's close to that price, you can just play this on it, and it might look and perform better anyway. Like, Halo Infinite is going to be on PC. Outer Worlds, PC. The new Fable game that's coming out is probably going to be on PC. Which, honestly, I only watched this because I wanted the Fable reveal. Of course it was going to be at the end of... Every time I watch a show, for the purpose of seeing a particular aspect or a specific reveal or something like that, it's always the last one. It's so annoying. But, yeah, like, I just feel like there's no real point. Oh, yeah, this Rare game. On the topic of Rare, can we get another Conquer or a Battletoads or something? I just miss when the Rare did things. Or another KI, that'd be cool. Like, nice to say that this doesn't look interesting, but it really doesn't. Like, that's... oh, yeah, Everwild, that's what that game's called. Like, to be fair, I'm not going to pretend that every single game that was announced for the PS5 last month caught my attention, but most of them did. And a lot of it was because it was, like, franchises that I recognized, as well as new IPs that genuinely looked captivating. I am looking for the other thing that interested me. I liked this one. I thought this was cool. I like Obsidian, and their sense of humor definitely shows in this trailer. Let's just let it play. I really liked that. Like, I thought that was actually really good, really clever. I'm not gonna buy the game, but that is interesting and memorable. I liked it. Also, Obsidian's kind of on a roll right now. I don't like that they showed a Battletoad. I don't actually know which one it is. I think it's Rash. This looks like it could be cool. Mostly because, like, I just love stories that take place in this type of setting. I love these type of, like, fantasy stories. Bow and arrow, sword and shield type stuff. I love that shit. It pretty much always works for me. Which is strange because I'm not really a fan of Lord of the Rings. You would expect me to be. It's not that I don't like Lord of the Rings, I've just never gotten into it. I liked the Hobbit book, I didn't like the movies. I had to read the Hobbit for class when I was in 7th grade. Magic, dude. Like, swords, shield, magic, arrows. Come on, man. I love magic. Yeah, Avowed. I'm gonna play this on my PC. I'm not... Nothing here is really screaming that I need to buy an Xbox so I can play it. I wasn't interested in this at all. This was it when As Dusk Falls. This no. I also like how there's a Psychonauts trailer for the first time in almost 2 years, and it doesn't really show you too much gameplay aspect. It's just kind of like I don't really know. What I guess this is like an overworld, which is cool, but like I don't know. This just doesn't tell me too much about the game. So as excited as I was when I realized it was Psychonauts, I kind of stopped being excited. This Destiny 2 thing, honestly, I don't care too much about Destiny 2. I never have. I pre-ordered it and then canceled my pre-order like a week later because I played the beta, didn't like it. I've got like maybe 3 hours played in the game because it was free on PlayStation about a year or so ago. Overall, not really a Destiny fan, not a Destiny guy. It's interesting that this seems to be... I don't know if this is an Xbox exclusive expansion. You guys can let me know. I haven't been keeping up with Destiny 2. But Activision and Sony have a very close relationship. That's obvious because Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy was PlayStation exclusive for like a year or so, like something like that. Um, Call of Duty content is always exclusive to PlayStation, like for a while, or like they get early access to stuff because Activision used to like solely make games for PlayStation, but since Activision and Bungie no longer are married, I guess they can do Xbox exclusive stuff with Destiny. That's pretty cool. But I'm not sure about that because I would think that Destiny is an Activision IP, not a Bungie IP. But I mean I don't know about that stuff. I don't know too much about like how rights work when it comes to things like this. Is this the Medium? Because the Medium was another one that I thought looked interesting. Oh no, this is Stalker. Where's the Medium? Oh, this is Warhammer. The Medium, the Medium, the Medium, the Medium, the Medium, the Medium. There we go. Finally. The Medium was another one that I thought looked interesting because it kind of reminds me of like a, well, when I was looking at it, it made me think of Control, which is funny because Remedy does have a game in here. I didn't look at the trailer. I wasn't interested. But I kind of like games where it's like, you know what it really makes me think of? It makes me think of Prince of Persia. The third one in particular, you have to like switch modes in order to do things. Or in the Titanfall 2 campaign mission, we have to like travel between the past and the present to navigate the obstacle course, which I thought was the most inventive FPS campaign mission I've played in a long time, and it hurt me that you stop time traveling after that. Dual reality gameplay, two worlds rendered simultaneously. That's actually really impressive. If that's true, if they render the entire like section of the game that you're playing twice simultaneously, that's cool. Because I mean, think about it, like you have to be able to switch modes, right? Between like I guess light mode and dark mode, dark theme, I guess. I can't really think of a better game to compare it to, but that type of thing is not new to games. But with the processing power that the Xbox Series X and a really standard, not a really standard, but a really good PC, mine is moderately good. With the power that a box like that has, this can be used really impressively. I'm very interested to see what you can actually do with that, where you can take it, what the limitations are with that. And then like the last thing I was interested in was Fable. I was like, oh damn, when I saw that the first time, I was like, she's dead. But yeah, man. I mean, it's Fable, you know. Like I loved the first Fable. That was one of my favorite 360 games. I love the crap out of Fable 2. I also like Fable Lost Worlds, not Lost Worlds, Lost Chapters. But I never played Fable 3 because I just didn't have an Xbox One. I think it was Xbox One. Because I'm pretty sure it came out in like either 2013 or 2014. But ever since then, we haven't heard from the franchise. There's been speculation about a Fable 4 for a long time. And I'm like, hey, when Fable 4 comes out, I'll play it. I was going to buy an Xbox to play it. But since then, obviously, Xbox games have been less Xbox games and more Xbox and PC games. And that's not to say that Sony isn't doing that same thing. You know, Bloodborne, Horizon, they are releasing some of their PlayStation games on PC as well, but it's not like a dual platform launch. Like, there are games that are definitely intended to remain PlayStation exclusives. Uncharted 4 isn't going to go on PC. Neither is The Last of Us 2, honestly, I don't think. But, like, for them doing that, it feels like they're getting everything out of it that they can from it being a PS4 exclusive game, and then opening it up. Now, some games just have a deal where eventually it won't be PlayStation exclusive anymore, like Death Stranding and Final Fantasy Remake, which we didn't know Final Fantasy VII Remake was going to go on PC until close to when it came out. So when the only on PlayStation thing just went away from the box art, I was like, okay, that's cool. But like, I'm trying not to sound like a Sony shill, right? But when I was watching the PlayStation presentation, which was about 2.5 times, or about it was about 2.5 hours, which is significantly longer than this one. So there was a lot more to show, a lot more to get through, a lot more to unpack. That's not a necessarily bad thing for Xbox. It definitely started off stronger than Sony's, because when you're unveiling your next gen console, showing a 7-year-old game isn't exactly how you want to start your presentation. But I mean, showing off Halo was definitely the right way to go for Microsoft, because that is the Xbox franchise. That is, when you think of Xbox games, you think of Halo. You might also think of Gears of War, and Forza, but you definitely think of Halo first and foremost, because Halo is what sold the Xbox, and it's pretty much always been what sold the Xbox. The 360, I mean, it had a lot of other aspects going for it. It was cheaper. Games looked better on it. There you go. that was the main thing for a while. But PlayStation definitely caught up by the end of the generation. I still prefer the 360 over the PS3 in a lot of ways. But yeah, this presentation was kind of disappointing. For one reason that I didn't expect to like be as big a deal as it ended up being is Microsoft has like some sort of exclusivity rights when it comes to like unveiling big anime games. Like, they were the ones who unveiled Kakarot, they unveiled Jump Force, they unveiled Dragon Ball FighterZ. Like, they pretty much get to do that. And since Bandai Namco dropped the ball yesterday on their big presentation when it comes to anime and shit like that, a lot of people figured, oh, well, Microsoft will pick it up tomorrow because they have that deal. Xbox is a bigger brand than Bandai Namco is. They'll get more eyes on it that way. It'll work out for both of them. And there's just nothing here. So, since EVO isn't happening right now, and since E3 has been canceled, Bandai had two really, really big chances to show off the future of anime games, whether it be a Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 3, or Fighters 2, or a Naruto Shinobi Strikers 2, or a new Bleach game or some shit like that, which CyberConnect 2 can make a new Bleach game. I would love that. If it came across more as a Storm and not as a Kakarot. Fuck Kakarot, that game sucks. But, now that they've missed both of these massive opportunities to unveil what's next, like, they didn't even show off the next Dragon Ball FighterZ DLC character yesterday. Like, what? It's been 2 months since Ultra Instinct Goku came out. I almost called him Kakarot. That's his name, but, like, come on. It's been 2 months since then. People are hungry for Master Roshi, or Pikkon, or whoever you want to put in the game. Tap Beyond, I don't care. Show us something. Bandai dropped the ball, and honestly, in my opinion, Microsoft dropped the ball. There were 3 things in this presentation that made it worth watching. That's Halo. I already forgot the game by Obsidian. Oh gosh, what's it called? Avowed. Halo, Avowed, and here Fable. That could have been a 15-minute presentation. A lot of people don't care about most of the other things that were shown off here. And I mean, I think this like to dislike ratio shows it. It's like, it's like a 70% like, you know. And I have YouTube Premium, so a lot of these comments are complaining about ads. I don't really know. I was just so disappointed in Halo 5. Really hope they knock this one out of the park, because I'm PlayStation guess it's PS4 from my roommate has an Xbox, so as a fan of Halo, I hope it's really good. Gameplay looks fun. Just the art style seems weird. I can't put my finger on it. That is a thing that's weird about the Halo game. It looks too polished in some ways, and not polished enough in other ways. You know, like I was talking about, like how textures are popping in. I think they're trying too hard to make it realistic. Like Halo 5, I think looked great. I think it was a good balance of realism and still remembering that you're fighting aliens on an alien world 500 years in the future. Overall, though, I really didn't find this presentation to be anything too special. I think the medium does look cool, but that could have just been dropped as a trailer that Xbox put online. I mean, because PlayStation drops trailers online all the time. They just, out of nowhere, hey, here's a game that's coming out on PS4 later this year. Like the Samurai Jack game. You know, a lot of people are going to play that, but they didn't stick it in the in State of Play or in the PS5 presentation because it's not that big a deal. Like, I think Sony has mastered a balance between what is definitely going to keep people watching this presentation stream and what's going to make people leave. Microsoft, I think, still has to work on that. And I love Obsidian. I'm definitely interested in Avowed. I do want to play that. But 80% of the other stuff here, I don't care about State of Decay or that fucking interactive game like a what's it called? Like a David Cage game. His studio has a name, right? Am I stupid? Whatever. David Cage. Stuff like that. I don't personally find it very interesting. And I think that overall, this presentation was kind of a miss. It's funny that there's this video here, Xbox Series X game showcase reaction better than PS5. Absolutely not. Now, if you prefer Xbox over PlayStation, that's fine. If you think that the games shown here were more interesting than the games shown for the PS5, that's fine. But objectively, the PS5 presentation was put together way better. You know, like, it did have a horrible start, but the entire rest of the 2.5 hours completely makes up for it, in my opinion. I love how I said objectively and then in my opinion. It's my opinion that it was worth the beginning of it, but I think it's objective that it's just a much cleaner, better put together presentation. Anyway, those are my thoughts about this. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I'll see you in the future.